Welcome to our podcast. Jim Schaefer here with Tim Anderson and two old Christian dudes. And we just felt led to start sharing stuff we've learned over the years. We've both been active in Christian fellowships. We have a strong faith in God and in our salvation through Jesus Christ. So we thought we'd, at this point in life, share it with you. And are glad you joined us today. I just want to mention we are sponsored by Biblical One-Page Briefs. These are 5 volumes of topics that have been written over the past 5 years. Started when I was about 79. But, the Bible is, how can you get into the Bible? I mean, it's just loaded with thoughts and history and practical living and future. And so I just started doing topics, and here are some examples. Living a great life, living with sin, marriage and fidelity, no irritation, no pearls, no rush hour on Sunday morning, and it goes on and on. There's about 100 per volume in here, and it's a good exercise if you're trying to topically get into Scripture. Boy, I'd like to see what the Bible has to say about this, that, or whatever. And so what we're doing today is sharing with you one of those type of briefs topically. And this particular one I authored as Staying Awake, being alert. Are you just living life? Are you just letting it happen? Are you just mildly curious about where you're going when you die? I live in a gated community with close to 2,000 people in the homes, and a small minority care about where they're going, but the vast majority are just living it out. The place I live, people have retired well, sold their houses in California and moved to Arizona. Whatever the case might be, and they got a lot of cash laying around. So the biggest thing in their mind and heart is their next cruise, or the next country they're going to, or where they're going to drive their motor home. What we're talking about this morning is staying awake, waking up spiritually, if you will, so life is a little bit more than your next meal. Jesus admonished his disciples in Luke 12 to live in readiness. For what you say? His return. In verse 35 plus, he speaks of the 2 different servants, where one is always prepared and ready, and the other who would be surprised if his master walked in one day. Which slave represents you? Are you ready? Have you arranged a travel venture for the fall? Have you prepared for the Lord's return this summer? Have you listed both on your bucket list? One of my pastors preached the 2 focuses of life, noting the attractions that we face. One list that I'll read first helps you to stay awake, and the other, giving in to the world. The first was to pray and fast, search me, Lord, and third, confession. I would suggest pray and fast, scripture study, helped by briefs, confession, and God searching me. The great verse to remember for continued wake-up is Jude 21. Keep yourselves in the love of God. The second aspect of awakened consciousness is not giving into the world system, which would abide laziness, consumerism, lust, and infidelity. My goodness, when you look at TV today and go to the movies or walk around your neighborhood, what do you see? If you live in prosperity or a prosperous situation, which we don't necessarily recognize, we don't realize in this world that most people are poor. I've always lived in suburbs, so I have to relate to it based on what I've read and not what I've lived, because the suburbs in the United States do quite well. Oh, you have a house? Oh, you have 3 grocery stores to choose between? Oh, you have a car of your own? My wife was upset because 2 years ago we had to give up the second car. Details we'll let go. The point here is to be ready. These words were written 2,000 years ago. The admonition of readiness remains. In Revelation 16:15, Christ communicates through John, quote, "Behold, I am coming like a thief. Blessed is the one who stays awake." We all know that after the thief does his work, the event is over. After Christ returns to earth, the welcoming party is dispersed. Acts 1, a good read by the way, describes well what happened and what will happen. As Jesus lifts up into the clouds, the angels state that he'll return just like he left. That's not so hard to believe today. Maybe when it happened or when it was written, that was a little bizarre. Today, with AI, with technology, with information, someone's shooting up in the air. We even have a show that says "Beam Me Up, Scotty," which I have changed over to "Beam Me Up, Jesus." But it says Acts 1 describes well what happened and what will happen. As Jesus lifts up into the clouds, the angels state that he'll return just like he left. It hasn't happened. I'm ready. Are you?